Condemned, based on Matthew 27, verses 11 through 26, by Dave Tippett. Jesus was placed before the governor, who questioned him, "Are you the king of the Jews?"
Jesus said, "If you say so."
But when the accusations rained down hot and heavy from the high priests and religious leaders, Jesus said,
"Nothing." Pilate asked him,
"Do you hear that long list of accusations? Aren't you going to say something?"
Jesus kept silent, not a word from his mouth. The governor was impressed.
Really impressed.
it was an old custom during the feast for the governor to pardon a single prisoner named by the crowd.
At the time, they had the infamous Barabbas in prison.
With the crowd before him, Pilate said,
"Which prisoner do you want me to pardon, Barabbas or Jesus, the so-called Christ?"
He knew it was though sheer spite that they had turned Jesus over to him.
While court was still in session, Pilate's wife sent him a message.
"Don't get mixed up in judging this noble man. I've just been through a long and troubled night because of a dream about him."
A long and troubled night.
A long and troubled night.
Long and troubled night.
About him.
Meanwhile, the high priest and religious leaders had talked the crowd into asking for the pardon of Barabbas and the execution of Jesus. The governor asked,
"Which of the two do you want me to pardon?"
"Barabbas!"
"Then what do I do with Jesus, the so-called Christ?"
"Nail him to a cross!"
"But for what crime?"
What crime?
What crime?
"What crime?"
But the crowd yelled all the louder,
"Nail him to a cross!"
When Pilate saw that he was getting nowhere and that a riot was imminent,
He took a basin of water and washed his hands in full sight of the crowd, saying,
"I'm washing my hands of responsibility for this man's death."
Washing my hands.
washing my hands.
"Washing our hands."
From now on, it's in your hands, your judge and jury.
Judge and jury, all of us, wet hands.
The crowd answered,
We'll take the blame, we and our children after us.
"Take the blame."
Then Pilate pardoned Barabbas, and Pilate then took Jesus and had him whipped.
The soldiers
Having braided a crown from thorns,
Set it on his head.
Threw a purple robe over him.
and approached him with,
"Hail, King of the Jews!"
Then they greeted him with,
slaps in the face.
and much worse.
It begins.
taking the blame.
Taking the blame.
For us and our
Children after us.
a long and troubled night begins.
What crime?